Hey everybody, on Enjoy the Bourbon today, John and I are going to open up this bottle of Michter's and tell you a little bit about this not so well known bourbon maker. Stay tuned. So again, we're here talking about Michter's bourbon, small batch. So a little bit about the history here that we have kind of discovered. So Michter's, again, maybe not in everyone's lexicon. I really had not heard of Michter's a whole lot until a few months ago. A few people were asking me if I've ever tried it. Somebody says it's their go-to bourbon. It is a little bit more widely available. But overall, their history is pretty interesting, John. It started as a whiskey company, still as a whiskey company, right? All bourbon's whiskey, not all whiskey is bourbon, though, right? But primarily was a whiskey company. Started in Pennsylvania prior to the Revolutionary War, actually. So again, started from a guy named Schenk, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He was a Mennonite and a farmer in Pennsylvania. Had a lot of access to rye. And so that's how he started to make a lot of his different whiskeys. Now he didn't get, company was sold, Prohibition came, changed hands a couple times. Now it's here in around us, near us, I should say, in Louisville, Kentucky. They have a few different types of whiskeys. This is again their small batch bourbon, but their history is very steeped. It's rumored, or maybe it's even well documented. But I was reading that George Washington actually went there as a general to help replenish his supplies of whiskey for the troops as they were fighting. So,
did you know that George Washington actually made whiskey?
I did.
In his
I've been to
home.
Monticello. No, wrong president. I've been
Thomas
to
Jefferson's Monticello.
I haven't been there actually, sadly. I have been to
Mount Vernon.
Yes, yeah. I did know that he had. I did know that he had his own distillery there.
Yeah.
So again, lots of history here with this bourbon. So I'm really excited to kind of get into this a little bit more and tell you guys what we think of this. You know, really, I would say it's a classic American whiskey, but this is specifically as their small batch bourbon.
So I've never tried Michter's, and at first when I saw it, I'm like, Michter's? Michter's? I didn't know how to say it. It's Michter's. Michter's bourbon, and there's 4 different types of Michter's bourbon. You have what we're going to try today.
Whiskeys. There's only one bourbon that I've found.
Oh, okay. So there's one bourbon, but then there's 4 different types of whiskeys of Michter's. So we've got the small batch bourbon. They have a sour mash whiskey. They have a Kentucky straight rye, and then they have an American whiskey.
Yep.
So this is 91.4 proof.
Yep. To be very specific there.
Yes.
It is 91.4.
Not 0.5, 0.4. So.
Yeah, so and the bottle is interesting. It's not handwritten, but it definitely is. They're going for that look. So they give you the batch number. This one is 20H1811. The history there, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm sure it has to do with the warehouse, the cask, probably the rick or whatnot, and all the fun bourbon stuff that probably some of you don't even know what that means. And to be honest, I really don't even know all the time what some of those terms mean. Definitely, though, it's in the warehouse where it's stored. A lot of times it relates back to that. That's what those numbers are. The overall bottle is nice. It's heavy. It's only 750 milliliters. But it's meatier than some other bottles, I think. Even when some folks that I had shown this to when I purchased it, they thought it was a full liter, just because how substantial it is.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe the glass is heavier or something. I don't know. But all bourbon is typically in 750 milliliter bottles.
Typically, yep.
It's just interesting. Some of the different bottles actually feel heavier or lighter depending on the bottle.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to score this from Costco in Northern Kentucky. I spent just under $40 for it, which, to be honest, like that's fairly decent price for a good bottle of bourbon. Again, this is small batch. What does small batch mean? So let's kind of go through there. So you have single barrel, a little bit more self-explanatory there. That's, you are bottling the bourbon from one single barrel. So you're going to get different notes and changes. Flavor profile is going to change, even though it's the same mash build, but it's going to be aged differently, a different place in the warehouse. So that's the uniqueness of a single barrel. Small batch is going to be a blend of a few barrels, and that's how you get a small batch. So that's the terminology there. And then you have your normal blended bourbons, such as like a Buffalo Trace or just even like a Wild Turkey. Those are going to be, all of the large portions of warehouses are going to be mixed together from the barrels, and then they're going to be bottled. And that's how you get that consistent flavor profile in a lot of your go-to bourbons. So that's a quick little rundown of some of the terminology there.
Great. Was this hard to find?
Not at all. And I mean, again, it was at Costco. So obviously to support that level of traffic, you have to have a lot. There was a ton of this at just that one Costco. I've actually seen this on the shelf almost around all of our local liquor stores as well. So I don't think that this is one of those that is going to be super hard for you to find. Now, depending on the area of the country you live in, maybe. But from where we're sitting right now, probably not. And to be honest, I think I'm going to start stocking this a little bit more at home, just because I don't want it to turn into one of those, people are starting to find this good bourbon, and then all of a sudden it becomes one of those unicorn bottles where it's going to be very difficult to find. So I'd rather just have a few bottles on hand. That way I'll just kind of circle through and replenish those as I drink through them.
Are we ready to taste it?
Sure. All right, so full confession, I sampled this already. Sorry, John. So I already have it's a good cork pop. I already have a decent idea of what it tastes like for me. So I won't give John any prejudgment there on my thoughts, but I definitely want his take on this, and then I'll give you guys mine.
Interesting smell.
It is, and I don't know if this is a high rye or a high wheat. I think it's high rye just because of the history of the distillery and where it came from, starting out in Pennsylvania. What's your thought?
The distillery's in Pennsylvania? No, it's in Kentucky.
It's in Kentucky now.
But it started
in Pennsylvania. Yep. So it doesn't actually state here the mash bill profiles, but it is obviously it's charred white oaks. And then they put it through a signature filtration system, is what it states here on the back of the bottle. I really think that comes through when I tried this the other day. To me, it was a very smooth bourbon. Let's see if that holds up today.
I'd agree with the smoothness.
Ooh,
I'm trying to
smooth.
ascertain stuff.
I think the sweetness comes through from the corn a lot. Like the corn is front to me. Caramel notes, vanilla. I think it's a very drinkable. I think we've done a video not that long ago talking about some of the drinkability of some other bourbons. Like Eagle Rare has a very high drinkability. This is in that category. Like, this is one of those you could pour a glass and it's not gonna. You're not gonna cough. It's not gonna give you. You're not gonna burn all the way down.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. But there is a little bit of. I don't know if it's a burn to it, but it's not a terrible. Like it's.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. Right. That first goes down.
But it's not like a.
It's a spice.
Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. It's spicy. A good. Again, I still think this is highly drinkable. I don't know. Maybe the profile changes a lot if you add ice to it.
I like it. It took me a couple tastes there to kind of to assess it, but I like it. It is smooth.
I wonder how this would be in an old fashioned.
I think for $39, that's a good buy.
I think it's a hell of a deal, especially if it's something that's easy to find. The drinkability on this is, again, very high. I think I'll try this out in an old fashioned, and I'll let you guys know on a future video how I feel that pairs well. I think it's super smooth as it is. So adding a little bit of sugar, simple syrup, some orange, some bitters.
In a $40 or less category, it'd be winning out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, would it beat your Eagle Rare?
But you never get Eagle Rare for $30 typically.
So even though
it's supposed to be $30, it
true.
never is $30. But no, it's good. I like it. I never heard of Michters before. I like it.
Yeah. So again, this is Michter's small batch. Again, the distillery itself the company goes back. Its heritage is 19. No, it's way farther. 1753. So again, this is pre-Revolutionary War. It's one of if not the first, it's one of America's first whiskey companies. And it's changed hands over the years. Prohibition definitely took its toll. Different owners, and now again, it's housed in Louisville, Kentucky. So pretty neat. I think after trying this, I wouldn't mind once COVID restrictions are lifted, we maybe make our way down. And I think we'd be a little bit remiss here without telling everybody that the holidays are here. So a little bit of festivity we've added to the video today. So for everyone that celebrates, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you. And with that, John.
And if you're struggling to get a present for a bourbon lover in your life,
that's true.
You should go out and visit our website, enjoythebourbon.com. We have some recommended gear on there, lots of great presents that you could get for a bourbon lover, including like these glasses. We have a link out for those glasses out there.
Yep,
there's a bunch of other cool accessories.
Yeah, there's some hats, socks. I actually own the pair of the bourbon socks out there, so I really recommend those. Again, easy gifts, not terribly expensive, but if you are in the market for something a little bit more expensive, we put some of the recommended items out there. So yeah, definitely last minute gift ideas. Go ahead and check that out, and it really does help support the channel. So we really appreciate all of the support we've had thus far. So with that,
cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy the bourbon.